Now, your buyer may be skeptical, okay? Now, is the successful launch of the Amor residences an accurate representation of what you can expect the direction of property prices to be? You talk about Amor residence, right? But it's just one case study, right? Correct? How can I be so sure that this will set the direction of what's ahead? Okay. Is it the accurate representation or not? What do you think?
Yes. I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, how about the rest?
Yes.
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 Who think that what happened to Amor residents is quite a good indicative of the market direction? That means we're moving ahead in the kind of pricing.
Yes.
How many say yes? Okay. How many say no? Teresa, no, right? Okay. I don't know whether it's sustained or not. Correct or not? Okay? Yeah. This whole, right, 99 or OCR area, right now. So is it a good representation? Now, how do we know whether it's a good representation? Let's look at the bigger picture together, shall we?
Yes.
Okay, because at the end of the day, today, okay, this topic actually not easy to conduct, you know why? Because talk about facts, numbers, and figures tend to be quite dry. Agree, you know? So I want to make it a little bit more interesting. Are you with me?
Yes.
So far, who is falling asleep? Should put out your hand. Who is falling asleep already? Really? No. Should really? Okay. Please go and buy coffee. Buy every one of us coffee. We all want coffee also. Sorry? Looking at the bigger picture. Okay. So let's look at the bigger picture together. Because at the end of the day, you know, when I serve my investors, I tell them that we look at numbers, we look at facts. Alright, we don't get carried by hype. And by the way, just because you see that one project was like fully sold or launched there, it doesn't mean that all the owners will make money at the end of the day when they decide to exit. Okay? Right? But at the end of the day, I think it's very important that we look at the fundamentals, we look at the big picture. Okay? Now, this is the big picture. What is this? This is an SRX property index with significant events on map up. You can see over here. This is the Asian financial crisis in 1996. Okay, dot-com bubble 1998. You have the SARS 2002. Right, then you have the subprime crisis, major cooling measures, so on and so forth. So this is the significant event that impacted Singapore prices. Okay. You're familiar with this chart? Okay, I show this chart to my buyer now. Now what can you say what can you deduce from this chart? Now many of you know about this chart now. But what can you interpret? What can you deduce from this chart? Anyone want to try? This chart, right, basically it shows the PPI. PPI means private property index versus the interest rate. Alright, so you can see that the line in blue, it represents the property price index. And the one in orange, it is the interest rate. So when we put them together, because earlier you mentioned that the interest rate is a concern, right? So now we put them together, let's see. How will you interpret this chart?
The interest rate remain low.
The interest rate remain low.
Yes.
Okay, then?
Property prices.
Property prices?
Higher,
right?
Higher than the interest.
Okay, the thing is this. Okay, very good. Thanks for trying now. Anyone else? What do you deduce from this chart? This graph here. These are all not from Raymond Giam, this is from URA, you know. Okay, this is from URA. What do you deduce from this chart? So you see, for this chart, right, basically, when we do comparison together on the same graph, you are trying to find out what is the correlation. Okay? So you can see that, right, the blue lines, the price trend, it basically shows the property price index, it is moving in the perpetual uptrend. You see? Right? It's perpetually uptrend. It is a cycle, but it's perpetually uptrend. Interest rate also moves in cycle, but it's more volatile. Correct? It's more volatile. But at the same time, you can see that, right? Regardless of how it moves up, property prices remains upward. So, what is a relationship? There is zero relationship. Correct? If today your client say that the interest rate is a concern, I can tell you that concern may not be that valid, because based on what we see, the bigger picture, there is very little correlation between interest rate and property prices. So if because of interest rate you don't buy, other people buy, who benefit from it? Other people lah. Correct? Can you see? Okay? Alright? Now, the next thing